What's going on, guys? Speedy Mormon here from Complex, and today I am joined by a 16-year NBA veteran, a Miami legend, and a newfound oyster lover.
Sure.
Dwyane Wade is in the building.
He's an oyster lover.
D-Wade, how were those oysters? I see videos of you eating oysters. You did not look happy.
It wasn't my day. That's all.
Is it your
I've
first?
had them. No, I've had them before.
Okay.
It wasn't a good day for me. That's all.
So there was some misinformation. People were like, "Oh, D-Wade's
Yeah.
first time having an oyster."
Yeah, I seen that. But it was cool. It was funny. When I took a nap and I woke up and I seen all this coverage.
That you had gone viral.
Yeah, that it had gone viral.
Yeah.
So, but it's all good. You know, sometimes you try things. I was at an event. It was a young man there that was making oysters, and they asked me to try it. I said, okay. You know, I want to give it a chance.
just wasn't hitting right
It just
today.
wasn't my thing.
Okay.
Not today.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Get him next time. D-Wade, you are, a perennial all-star, and you are weeks away from getting your Miami Heat jersey retired.
Yeah.
If I was to rewind 20 years before you were this global phenomenon, would you have imagined that this is how your NBA career would have gone?
Yes, but no at the same time. Okay.
Why yes, why no?
So, in high school, in my yearbook, when I was 17 years old, they asked me. They said, "What do you see yourself in 20 years?"
Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah.
Right. So I threw it out there, like, "Hey, I see myself retiring in 20 years to spend time with my family and becoming one of the greatest ever play." So yes, but the process and the journey, no. You know, I couldn't see it. But all I did is put my head down and went to work. And once I came up for air, I had an amazing career behind me.
When you're 17-year-old Dwyane Wade is telling people this or believing this yourself, is there any doubt, or is it like, no, I am going to be this NBA legend and take care of my family? And
It's definitely doubt. I think it's doubt because you don't see too many people that have went down that same path and have become successful. So that's what the doubt creeps in at. But being the first one to try to do something, especially in my family and in my community, that is always tough to be the first.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of support along the way that helped me get there. So all in all, I'm glad I did. Now it's my job to help the next gen realize the same thing. And it's maybe not just in sports, but in other areas that they dream of and they want to be great in. So.
For sure.
Yeah.
You've been an attraction to watch courtside for many years now, and we've heard stories about Kevin Hart at the games and DJ Khaled at the games and such.
Yeah.
When you think back though to the early parts of your career, can you remember one of the first times there was a very famous person sitting courtside?
Very famous? First time I remember when I was just like, I think when it came to Miami, like we always heard that people would come down to Miami, but you never really seen them at the games, when I first got here. But once we started kicking it up, once we started winning, I got a chance to start seeing P. Diddy sit on the sideline, saw Rick Ross sit on the sideline, saw Destiny Child come to a game at the time. Yeah, it was that and then you start seeing more stars pop up. A lot of football players, obviously, they love Miami, come down to Miami a lot, so you start seeing a lot of football players back in the day, the Warren Sapps of the world, these, Hall of Fame players, Chris Carter, just a lot of guys start popping up, Randy Moss, and just it started growing and growing and growing from there. So,
what's it like to have Diddy courtside at a game?
I mean, it was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like you sitting there, and we're professional athletes, but we grew up. When you grow up watching someone, it's still that tap on the shoulder, like yo, that's such and such.
Right.
So you want to perform. You know what I'm saying? You want to put on the show. And Lil Wayne will always come to our games, and just the whole crew, everybody come out. What the hell?
Oh, that's your wife.
Who's that? Oh, my wife.
That's your wife. That's okay. It's all good. When you see these super celebrities at your games, there's two ways to go, right? You can either see them and be like, oh shit, there's Diddy or Destiny's Child, and get nervous, or it's, oh, these people coming to watch me, I'm about to turn it up.
Yeah.
Which way did Dwyane Wade go when you came to this sport?
You know what it is.
Yeah.
Turn up. You know what I mean? Like you got to perform, and you want those people to come back, so you got to put on the show. So, and most of the time they would come out to a game. It wasn't just a regular game on a Tuesday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was, Cleveland coming to town playing against LeBron, or the Lakers coming to town playing against Kobe. So yeah, it's the stars coming to town, so you definitely got to show up.
Is it weird for you to go back to the arena now, not as a player? I imagine it's kind of like a high school graduate going back to visit their high school afterwards. Is it strange? Does it feel weird?
I haven't been back yet.
When that first visit back
Yeah.
comes, what do you think that'll be
I don't
like?
think it'd be weird. I don't see why. You know, it's
Well, when you see, guys that you've played with out on the court without you.
No, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think for me, a long time ago, I knew that was going to happen. And even though you can't prepare yourself for it as close as you can, that's what you try to do. But, I don't miss being out there. I love the game, but I don't miss a lot of things about it. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I feel like I left something back there and I'm jealous of people who are still doing it. I'm not at all. I'm supporting the next generation for sure.
You, on the contrary to many players these days, left kind of on a high note. Sometimes guys don't leave on their own terms. Maybe an injury ends their career.
Yeah.
You left, obviously, with still a little bit in the tank. I assume with a mind like yours that was an intentional decision. Is that the case?
Well, I wish. I think I kind of got lucky a little bit. I had a lot of injuries throughout my career. It was a lot of times that people said I should have retired, mm-hmm. Years before I did. But I was able to kind of right my wrong a little bit, start, training my body different, started eating different, started just taking care of myself differently, and I was able to play, probably 3 or 4 more years than people thought I would. And then at the end, at 37, it was like, oh man, you can still go, But for me, it was like, this is the right time. This is the right time for me to walk away from the game. I get to leave with my head up high, mm-hmm. that you guys think I can still go. So Let me get out now.
Yeah, and you didn't look like one of the washed up legends, what I'm saying, that's still out there, like looking like they playing rec ball or something.
Well, that's the hard thing, right? The hard thing is setting a standard. You set a standard for yourself. Not only do the fan base expect that of you, but you expect it of yourself. And when you keep falling short of that standard, that's when the stress and the pressures and you start dealing with so many different emotions and things you never dealt with. So for me, it was a lot of years of trying to reach that standard that I set. And once I realized that I wasn't that basketball player no more, I had to start thinking a little differently.
For sure. Speaking of continuing the Wade legacy, Zaire is what a lot of people feel to be maybe one of the next great players. How do you, have conversations with him to kind of manage that? I imagine that people put a lot of unnecessary pressure on him. Do you feel as if people put too much pressure on him? Are you excited at his future? What is that?
It's definitely pressure put on him as the last name that he carried. And he's playing the same sport. So that's a lot of pressure put on a young kid. But, God don't put too much on you that you can bear. So, along this journey, along this way, I try to continue to keep in mind to him that is, the things that it takes to be successful. And it's not just in basketball, but if you do these things when it comes to basketball, maybe the success happens for you here, but if it doesn't, it will happen for you elsewhere. So right now what we're trying to do is we're just trying to teach him about habits. We're trying to teach him about creating his own legacy and creating his own lane, which is not easy to do, but it's our job to continue to try to instill it in him.
Gabrielle Union, wifey who's in the building right now, said in an interview that you two met at Super Bowl weekend a few years ago.
Yeah.
Now we're here at a Super Bowl weekend
Miami again.
A few years later. Yeah. Did you expect to be where you are today with Gabrielle Union when you met her at that party?
Yes and no.
Yes and no again. Why yes and why no? Because she says at first she was with somebody else. She wasn't really feeling the kid.
No, don't look like it's what you're going to throw in there. She wasn't feeling the kid.
Well, she said it, not me. Those ain't my words.
No, I think it's the same thing, man. You have you kind of put together an ideal in your mind of, the person that you feel you want to be with one day. It starts when you're a kid, so yeah, the idea of the person was there. But when we met each other, it was the journey to try to get here. So, a lot of highs and lows, more highs than lows, and here we are. We still rocking.
Word, still rocking. All of these Super Bowls later, for sure. Obviously, it's been a very somber time in the NBA world with the passing of Kobe Bryant, someone that you called very close. But on a brighter note, I don't want to talk negatively about this time period. What positives can you say about Kobe Bryant? I mean, it's a guy whose nose you broke, and he laughed about it and said that he loved it.
Yeah.
Interrupting press conferences and stuff like that. What positive things do you remember about Kobe Bryant?
Well, that's one of the great things about the game of basketball is you get an opportunity to become friends with, play against, guys that you grew up watching and idolizing. So for me, to grow up watching Kobe and idolizing him, and then getting a chance to develop a relationship, a friendship, where we have that kind of banter, a competitiveness, where we go back and forth. That was special. And those are the moments in your career as an athlete that means the most to you. And I know everyone goes out and try to get rings and all of these things, which is great, but those are not the memories that stay with you. It's the memories of the relationships that you build, and it's the moments that you create. And I created a lot of amazing moments with one of my idols, who later became a friend of mine and Kobe. So definitely, obviously we all, the whole world as a whole, it feel like we lost a loved one. But the memories that we have is what carries us on.
For sure. We are obviously in Miami, Florida, but this specifically is the BudX event space. What does it mean to you to be partnering with Budweiser at a crazy, crazy event like this?
Yeah, man, I mean, I think when it comes to advertising, Bud they're at the top. They're at the top of the chain. So, having an opportunity last year for them to put an unbelievable spot about some of the things that I've done away from the game of basketball together, and really blow it out was incredible. And just to have that relationship, and then continue it. So I'm looking forward to continuing the relationship. I think we both can help each other go places and do things that can be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Yeah.
Word, D-Wade, much appreciated. Thanks for the
Respect,
time.
man.
Appreciate it.